Hey, what's good, everybody? It's your boy George Michael Perez, a.k.a. G Mike. You already know what it is, baby. Those Bandoleros Fantasy Football League is back in action with the Week 4 results and the Week 5 matchups coming at you. But before we get into that, follow me on my socials at George Mike Perez on Twitter, IG, TikTok, and YouTube at GMikeMedia_. And if you haven't heard about the podcast that I'm doing, talking about basketball, football, and any type of sports, it's the G Perspective on all podcast platforms. So let's get it. Let's show you these Week 4 results and these Week 5 matchups. Let's go. All right, let's get it. First matchup was myself against George, a.k.a. Losing Hurts. I got 138.88 points, and he had 113.48 points. So I won this week. And some of my players went off, like Deebo Samuel, freaking Derrick Henry, but TJ Hawkinson, wow, 179 reception yards, 2 reception TDs on 8 receptions. Sheesh. Georgia's team, yeah, they did kind of decent, but they didn't really come to get the dub. You got CD Lamb, he went off a little bit, 97 yards with 6 receptions, 1 reception TD. McCaffrey doing his thing like always, just he's got to score a little more. But he had 81 reception yards and 1 reception TD, and his rush yards were actually nowhere. So that was kind of tough. If George would have put in Dameon Pierce with 25.90 fantasy points, he replaced him for James Robinson. He would have been tight. It would have been a closer matchup for sure. Maybe he couldn't even won. So it would have been tough. He had 66.92 bench points. I had 33 bench points. But at the end of the day, the end of the week, your boy got the win. I move up to 4th place, 3-1. George is 0-4. No comment. All right, second matchup was Jose with 104.02 points. And then the undefeated king right now is Tricky, 144.86 points. His team went off. Let's look at Jose's team right quick. They did kind of decent. You know, he had like 6 players with 10 or more points, but it wasn't enough against Trick because Josh Jacobs went off 144 rush yards, 2 rush TDs, 34 fantasy points. Eckler, same thing, 34 fantasy points, 2 rush TDs, 60 rushes yards. And then Marquise Brown with 20 fantasy points, 88 reception yards with 6 receptions. And let's see the bench right here. If Jose would have put Alan Lazar in, yeah, it would have helped him out a little more, replaced him with Gabriel Davis, but he still would have lost because Tricky team just went off. Tricky did a good coaching job here with his bench. He put in the right players on his starting unit. Jose had 45.50 points on his bench, and Trick had 22.42. Trick improves to 4-0, the only undefeated person right now in the league, first in the league, and Jose drops down to 2-2, 7th in the league. All right, third matchup here is the reigning champ, Steve, with 92.26 points. Not enough to beat the legend, Bobby, a.k.a. the legend. Finally got his first win, 129.54 points. Steve's team really kind of shit the bed. I'm not going to lie. He had 5 players with under 8 points. With under 10 points each. Mahomes doing his thing, of course, but Steve's team didn't really come out to ball. JT, he has been nowhere this year. It's been incredible. For Fabi, Jared Goff went off. Tyreek Hill still went off with 2 out, 160 yards, 10 receptions, and he didn't have a TD. So if he had a TD, probably would have been like 34. DK Metcalf finally going off, 149 reception yards with 21.90 fantasy points. Let's check out their benches right quick. Steve's bench, if you really wouldn't, no matter what, Steve was going to lose this week against Fabi. Fabi just had a terrific week. Damian Harris on the bench with 1 rush TD, 86 rush yards. So that would have helped out Fabi a little more, putting him in for Najee Harris. But he still got the dub. 57.90 bench points for Fabi and 35.26 bench points for Steve. Fabi gets his first win of the season. He improves to 9th place, and Steve drops down 1-3, and he goes to 10th place. All right, let's get it with this 4th matchup. The back-to-back champion a few years ago, Juwan, drops down to 2-2. 72.26 points he put up against Kev. Kev started off 0-2. Now he won 2 straight weeks, 113.70 points. Juwan's team, Cooper Kupp, always doing his thing, 122 reception yards, 14 receptions. But everybody else, sheesh, under 10 points. Even Jalen Hurts. Wow, tough week for Juwan. But Kev's team went off. Justin Jefferson, 147 reception yards, 10 receptions, 1 rush TD, not even a reception TD, in freaking London. Nick Chubb doing his thing, of course. And then everybody else just had a decent week. Justin Herbert had a good week too. But let's check out the bench right quick. If Juwan would have put J.K. Dobbins in, it would have helped him out. He would have had like 97 points, but he still would have lost. And then Kev, you did some good coaching this week because you would have put in other people like Matthew Stafford. If you would have put in Matthew Stafford, you probably would have been close to losing, and even Juju and Chase Claypool. So good job on that. Kev had 44.66 bench points, and Juwan had 36.90 bench points. Kev gets his second win in a row, improves to 8th place. Juwan gets his second losing week in a row and drops to 5th place. All right, 5th matchup here. We got the rookie, a.k.a. Geo, with 100.28 points. Not enough to beat Ernie, 116.54 points. Geo's team, T. Higgins went off against the Dolphins, did his thing, but Schultz shit the bed, had no receptions for the Cowboys. Yeah, his team wasn't really that good. And then Ernie's team went off, well, 3 specific players. Mike Evans, 2 reception TDs, 103 yards. Miles Sanders, 134 rush yards, 2 rush TDs, 22 reception yards. And then actually just 2 players. Everybody else was kind of just decent. Jalen Waddle, surprising, he really didn't do much. But Tua was out, of course. And then if Gio would have replaced anybody, he still would have lost. If Ernie did not take Kamara out right before, because it literally 15 minutes before is when he took him out, he probably would have. I mean, not really, because Hines only put up 2 points, but still, like it would have messed him up. And then Thielen on his bench with 72 reception yards, 15 fantasy points. Ernie had 47.80 bench points. Gio had 32.80 points. Ernie improves to 3-1, and he is in 3rd place. Gio drops down to 1-3, and he's in 11th place. All right, last matchup, we got Adonis, a.k.a. Crypto Wolf. He won with 162.20 points. Wow, he had the most points in the league this week. And he beat Johnny 103.90 points. Adonis's team here, he had 8 players with 10 or more points. Just a good week for him. I'm not going to even go through each one. Each single player went off, except for the Green Bay defense. That's the only flaw. And then Tua, for Johnny, Tua obviously went out in that game. Hopefully he's not that crazy injured. His team actually had a decent, good week. You know, Christian Kirk only 8 points. It is what it is. But if Tua would have played, he probably would have put up maybe like 20 points. So Johnny would have had like 123 points, but it wouldn't be close to Adonis. Adonis just had an amazing week. And even his bench players had terrific games. Look at Rashad Penny with 151 rush yards, 2 rush TDs, 1 reception. Crazy stuff. No matter what Johnny did, he was going to lose this week. It was just Adonis's week at this point. Adonis had 84.40 bench points. Jesus Christ. And then Johnny had 30.90 points. Crypto Wolf improves to 3-1. He is now in 2nd place. Johnny drops down to 2-2, and he is now in 6th place. All right, so we got the matchups for next week. Myself, I'm going up against the back-to-back champ a few years ago, Juwan. Jose going up against Adonis, a.k.a. Crypto Wolf. The reigning champ, Steve, going up against Geo, the rookie. That's going to be a nice little matchup right there. And we got Fabi, a.k.a. the legend, going up against Johnny, the rapper out of Miami. And then we got George against Ernie. And then the undefeated king right now, Tricky, going up against Kev, who's on a 2-game hot streak. Let's check out the standings right quick. Like I said, Tricky's on top, 4-0. Then we got Adonis at 2nd, Ernie 3rd. I'm at 4th, Juwan 5th, Johnny 6th, Jose 7th, Kev 8th, Bobby, a.k.a. the legend, at 9th, the reigning champ at 10th, the rookie, tough year rookie, at 11th, and then George at the bottom of the list at 12th. All right, y'all saw the week 5 matchups, baby. You saw your boy in 4th place. It is what it is, 4th place for now, but we move up the ranks. All we got to do is make it a playoff, baby. But go check out the podcast because I got Geo, a.k.a. the rookie, on the last episode, the latest episode, and we talk about the fantasy league, we talk about the Dolphins, and we talk about video gaming and Twitch. We talk about a whole bunch of different stuff. But go check it out. It's gonna be dope for sure. You guys will love it. Real quick, just follow me on my socials at Gmike Media _ on IG, TikTok, and YouTube, and then on Twitter at George Mike Perez. And then the podcast, if you want to go check it out, it's under the G Perspective. It's on all podcast platforms. But don't forget to subscribe, leave some comments, say whatever you want to say, and we'll see you next time. Peace.